Hi there, this is your Cake Sis Kemi, and I will be showing you how to create this faux or fake graduation cake topper using fondant. Let's go. Right, so first thing you need is your styrofoam. I get this from Amazon, and I use a healthy, see, I put a lot of vegetable shortening and I put that all over the styrofoam. This is what will adhere the fondant to the styrofoam. Right, now that I have my styrofoam prepped, it's time to roll out that fondant. You roll it out using the rolling pin. I use the Satin Ice brand of fondant, also available on Amazon, and I will include a link in the description to my Amazon store where you have access to all of the supplies that I use and just basic supplies for fondant essentials. And so you want to roll it out nice and even, not too thin, because if it's too thin, when you cover the styrofoam cake, it would rip. So you want to roll it out and have it a little bit on the thicker side. Yes, a little elbow action, because rolling fondant can be an upper body workout. All right, so here I am using my ruler, which I use only for my cakes, to measure out the amount of fondant that I need to cover my styrofoam. This also helps to ensure that you have enough fondant to cover your styrofoam or even with cake. So it's always good practice to measure so that you have enough fondant and don't have to roll out a fresh batch of fondant all over again. Oops, and there goes my son racing across. All right, so for this particular cake topper, I decided to put the styrofoam on the fondant panel and rolling it across. I wouldn't do it this way with a real cake, even though I have seen some cake makers cover their cakes in fondant the same way that I'm doing this. I just haven't felt comfortable doing it this way with the real cake. Now, whatever works for you is fine. Typically, I would have the styrofoam or my cake in an upright position and cover the fondant that way. And just trying to smoothen out that back seam, so you smoosh the two ends together like so, just to make it nice and smooth. All right, to trim off my excess fondant, I prefer to use a razor blade. An X-Acto knife works well, a sharp knife. I have tried different knives, and the razor just works best for me. It gives me more control and I'm very careful using it. So again, you just have to use what works for you and what will give you sharp edges. All right, so we are all done with the body of our grad cap topper. So next, to create the top, you will just cut out a square of fondant, of course, in the same black color. And it can be a little tricky trying to ensure that you keep the shape. Since the fondant is still a bit tacky at this point, this is why I'm transferring it onto my silicone mat and flipping it over this way. It's really just to keep the square shape without the fondant piece that I cut losing its shape. important tip is you want to ensure that you prepare this in advance so that it can dry. All right, so I have another video here where I cover the top of the entire cake, but for purposes of showing you how it's done, I put this together even though this is a separate cake topper. And what you would do is you would apply the square piece onto the top of the styrofoam just the same way that I'm doing in this video. You want to center it as much as you can, and I use water. I find to be the best glue for fondant. It is very effective. Water makes the fondant tacky enough that it sticks without any issue. So water. So next I am trying to create the tassel, so just rolling out some fondant and rolling it kind of like in a ball, but flattening it at the same time. And I put just a tiny bit of water using a brush to attach that piece of fondant onto the square piece. See, it's already coming to life. I love it already. For a more realistic look for the tassel, I prefer to use actual rope. Yes, it is inedible, and this is information that I share with my clients. Always available on Amazon. You can get just about anything on Amazon. Now, one thing that I've found with the tassels that are available on Amazon is that they tend to be a little too short. And so for me, what I do is buy regular thread, the same color that my tassel will be in, and I attach it to the actual tassel. That way it's longer, and it's not, like just hanging over the top in a way that personally I don't like. But again, if it works for you, it's totally fine. So you can see that I am just wrapping the thread around the fondant. The fondant at this point is still pretty tacky, and so wrapping it around and tucking it underneath the fondant, that way it secures the thread at the same time. So voila, you are all done. This really is a quick and easy way to create a faux graduation cap topper. It also works with real cake. On the final design, it's 2 tiers of real cake, and that 3rd tier is a faux or a fake graduation cap topper. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and stay on this channel so that you can watch more fondant cake decorating videos. All right, until next time, bye.